Hey everyone, it's your family doctor here. Welcome back to the channel. I've been practicing medicine for over a decade now, and there's something I see in my clinic all the time that I really want to talk about today. It's something that's been on my mind for years, and it honestly makes me a little sad. Have you ever felt like this? You walk down the skincare aisle at the drugstore, or you see an ad on social media, and you just get completely hooked by the marketing, the promises, the gorgeous packaging, the airbrush skin. It's so easy to get pulled in, and I see it with my patients, especially the women, but plenty of men too. You look at your bathroom counter, it's a whole pharmacy of products: cleansers, toners, serums, day creams, night creams, essences, brightening lotions, repair balms. I mean, the list goes on and on. And each one of those little jars, maybe it weighs 50 grams, if that, but you paid 80, 100, sometimes $200 for it, and we buy it without blinking, hoping that this one will be the magic bullet. We're basically paying for the hope that we'll look like the model in the commercial, but let's stop and think for a second. How much of that price tag is actually for the ingredients? A huge chunk of it is for the fancy glass jar, the celebrity endorsement, the high-end counter at the department store, the rent for that prime retail space, and that luxurious feel and smell that makes you think it's working. And yet, after all that, what happens? You look in the mirror and you see those lines on your hands. You see that creepy skin on your neck, those rings of wrinkles. Are they getting better? No, if anything, they're getting deeper and more noticeable. And isn't that just the most frustrating thing? You are so diligent, you follow the routine, you spend the money, and your skin just isn't paying you back for all that effort. It's not fair. Let me tell you a story about a patient of mine. She's a lovely woman, a business executive's wife, really nice person, and she had it all: designer handbags, designer clothes, the whole package. She came to see me for a regular checkup, but she was really down. She sat in my office and she said, "Doctor, I have to be honest. I am so embarrassed. Look at my hands." She held them out and they were rough, dry, and wrinkled. "They look older than my housekeeper's hands," she said, "and my neck. My friends are calling it a turkey neck. My husband and I have to go to these work events and I feel so self-conscious. I spend a fortune on my skin, more than I probably should, and I look worse than someone who doesn't do anything. I don't know what I'm doing wrong." I took a look at her skin. It was dry, dull, and the wrinkles were pretty deep, honestly. It didn't look like the skin of someone who was using top-of-the-line products. I thought to myself, this isn't a medical condition, this is a case of marketing overload. So I told her, "I want you to do something. I want you to take all those expensive creams, all those serums and lotions, and put them in a drawer. Just put them away for now." She was stunned. She looked at me like I had just asked her to give up her cell phone. "Are you serious, doctor?" She said, "That cream alone cost me $300. The sales lady at the counter told me it has the newest, most advanced breakthrough peptide complex. It's the best of the best." I said, "I know it is. And I also know you've been using it for months, right? Has your skin gotten better?" She thought about it and admitted it hadn't. "Then why keep using it?" I said, "Why keep wasting your money and your time on something that's proven it doesn't work for you?" Then I gave her my recommendation. I said, "Here's what I want you to try. Don't go to the department store. Don't go to your local drugstore. Or just go to Walmart or Target, buy the biggest, plainest, most basic jar of petroleum jelly you can find. It's going to cost you about $5. And then pick up one more thing. That's the real secret I want to share with you today. I call it the gold of skincare. It's simple, it's cheap, and it works." She was skeptical, I could tell. But she trusted me and she agreed to try it. I told her to mix these two simple things together, apply it every night before bed, and come back in a month. A month goes by, she comes back for a follow-up. She walks into my office and before she can even get a word out, she's tearing up. She grabs my hands and says, "Doctor, look at my hands, look at my neck." And I have to say, even I was impressed. Her hands, which used to feel like sandpaper, were soft and smooth, like she was 10 years younger. The deep lines on her neck had faded so much you almost couldn't see them anymore. Her skin had this natural, healthy glow that just wasn't there before. She told me her husband had been complimenting her nonstop. He kept telling her she looked 10 years younger. Her friends at their dinner parties were asking if she'd gotten a laser treatment or a facelift. She even told me she'd thrown away all those expensive creams. Her bathroom counter now has just a $5 jar of petroleum jelly and a small bottle of my secret weapon. She became my biggest believer, telling all her friends about it. In fact, she referred a bunch of new patients to me just so she could tell them about this trick in my waiting room. So by now, you're probably thinking, okay, I'm listening. What is that one magical drop you mix with the petroleum jelly? What makes a $5 product work better than a $300 cream? This is the secret that the multi-billion-dollar skincare industry does not want you to know. They don't want you to know this because if everyone did, their entire business model would be in trouble. They need you to think that skincare has to be complicated. They need you to think that a longer ingredient list full of things you can't pronounce means it's more powerful. They want you to be confused and impressed, so you'll open your wallet. So let's get back to basics. Why do we get wrinkles? Why does our skin get dry and lose that firm, plump feel? Why did we have perfect skin in our 20s with nothing but a splash of water and some cheap lotion, but now in our 40s and 50s? Using a dozen expensive products, we still look parched. If you look at this from the perspective of traditional holistic medicine, it all comes down to one very simple word: dryness. And there are two kinds: external dryness and internal dryness. External dryness is all the moisture that evaporates from the surface of your skin. That's from the wind, from the sun, and especially from the air conditioning and central heating we're all exposed to day in and day out. Whether you're at work, in your car, or at home, these systems are literally sucking the moisture right out of your skin. That's external dryness. Internal dryness is what's happening inside your body as we get older. Our bodies naturally produce less of the vital fluids and energy that keep our skin plump and hydrated. Remember when you were in your 20s, your skin was bouncy and dewy because your internal hydration and your circulation were at their peak. Your body was pumping all that good stuff right to the surface. Feeding your skin from the inside out, no effort required. But after about age 35 or 40, those internal reserves start to decline. Your internal water supply and energy supply start to run a little low. At the exact same time, all those external factors, sun, wind, AC, heating, are attacking your skin and taking away what little moisture you have left. It's a 1-2 punch. It's a double whammy. So your skin is like a field that's not getting enough rain. And on top of that, a hot, dry wind is blowing across it, drying it out even more. Eventually, the ground cracks. Those cracks are your wrinkles. They're not a sign of aging just because time passes. They're a sign of a long-term chronic moisture deficit. Now think about those expensive creams you're using. What are they actually doing? They say they have collagen, hyaluronic acid, peptides, stem cells, and all this other high-tech stuff. And it sounds amazing, right? But here's the truth. First, those big molecules like collagen and hyaluronic acid are too large to actually get into your skin. They just sit on the surface. They plump up your skin for a few hours, which is why you look great right after you apply them. But it's temporary. You wash your face and it's gone. It's like putting a coat of paint over a rotten wall. It looks good for a while, but it doesn't fix the underlying problem. Second, these creams are great at adding water. That's the hydration part, but they're terrible at keeping it there. They don't have a good seal. If you don't put a lid on that water, it just evaporates. And in a dry office or an air-conditioned room, it evaporates fast. You put it on, you feel nice and wet, but 30 minutes later, your face feels even tighter and drier than before, and you think, oh, I need more, so you put more on, and the cycle continues. This is treating the symptom, not the root cause. This is where our humble friend petroleum jelly comes into the picture. What is petroleum jelly? It's a simple, stable mineral oil wax. It's very inert, which is a fancy way of saying it doesn't react with your skin. It rarely causes allergies. It very rarely goes bad. Even people with the most sensitive skin can usually use it without any problems at all. Now, I know what you're thinking, doctor, isn't mineral oil bad for you? Doesn't it clog your pores? I hear this all the time. That is a myth. It's a myth that has been around for decades. Petroleum jelly is made of very large molecules. They are literally too big to fit into your pores and cause a blockage. They don't cause blackheads or acne. So what does it do? It doesn't soak in. It simply sits on the very, very top layer of your skin, the stratum corneum, and forms a super effective protective barrier, a film. This film does one thing, and it does it brilliantly. It locks moisture in traditional medicine terms. It's like building a wall around your castle. It closes the gates. It keeps all your skin's precious hydration from escaping. Think of it this way. You're in a cold room and you've got a heater going. You can keep the heater running. But if you don't have any insulation and your windows are wide open, all that warm air is just going to fly right out. The petroleum jelly is your insulation. It stops the moisture you already have from evaporating into the dry air. So you wash your face at night, pat it dry, and while it's still just a little bit damp, you apply the jelly. It seals that water in. It also seals in your skin's natural oils. Just doing this one simple step, just sealing in what you already have, already outperforms 99% of the expensive creams on the market because they don't do this one critical job. And they don't do it because they can't sell a $5 jar of petroleum jelly for $100. It's just not a good business model for them. But let's be honest, just defending your fortress isn't enough. You can't just lock the doors and hope everything inside will fix itself. You can't just stop the good stuff from leaving. You also need to bring in new resources to fix what's already broken. A country can't just rely on its border patrol. It also needs to have food production and industry inside. For that, we need our secret weapon. The second ingredient, the one drop of liquid gold, and that is vitamin E oil. Don't underestimate this stuff. In nutritional science, it's called tocopherol, and it is one of the most powerful antioxidants we have in a simple, accessible form. Now, antioxidant is a big word. Let me explain it like this. Think of your skin cells like an apple. You cut an apple in half and leave it on the counter. What happens? It turns brown, it shrivels up, it gets all wrinkly. That's oxidation. That's what happens when the cells in that apple are damaged by the air. Our bodies are constantly battling oxidation. Sunlight, stress, pollution, not sleeping enough, even just the process of living, they all cause oxidation. That's a huge part of what we call aging. Vitamin E is like a squeeze of lemon juice on that apple. It stops the browning process. It protects the cells from that damage. Some people call it the fountain of youth for a reason. Now, many expensive skincare products add vitamin E, but they often add a tiny, barely effective amount, or they use a cheap synthetic version and they charge you a fortune for the bottle. You can get the pure, potent stuff yourself for just a few dollars. If we look at it from a traditional holistic medicine perspective, vitamin E oil is a nourishing substance. It's yellow, it's oily, and it has a good penetrating power. It's not like the petroleum jelly that just sits on top. This stuff can go deeper into the layers of your skin. Its job is to invigorate blood flow, to get the circulation moving. That dullness, those dark spots, that uneven skin tone, that is often from tiny stagnations in the microcirculation. The blood is not flowing properly to those areas. Vitamin E helps promote blood flow, pushing out the old stagnant blood and bringing in fresh new nutrients. That's why your skin tone becomes more even and you get that healthy glow. It's also known to generate flesh. What does that mean in plain English? Pure vitamin E oil was used on some very difficult to heal wounds like bed sores. It wasn't the main treatment, but it was used as a topical agent to stimulate the growth of new tissue. So when you apply it to a wrinkle, you're essentially stimulating the deeper layers of your skin, the dermis. To generate new collagen and elastin. That's the scaffolding of your skin. That's what keeps it firm and bouncy. A wrinkle is like a crease in a piece of fabric that's been folded and smashed down so many times the fibers are broken and thin. Vitamin E goes in almost like a little repair worker and helps restitch the broken fibers and plump the area back up. That's how the crease becomes shallower and less visible. So look at this beautiful combination. Think of them as a team. The petroleum jelly is the guard, the protector, the one who stands outside the gates of your skin. It builds a strong, sturdy wall to keep all the good stuff from escaping, and it also keeps out the bad stuff, the irritants, the allergens, the wind, the cold. It's a perfect shield. The vitamin E is the healer, the nutritionist. It goes inside that protected environment, completely safe from the outside world, and gets to work. It works on repairing the damaged cells. It stimulates new growth. It gets the blood flowing. It brings in fresh nutrition. One works on the outside, one works on the inside, one defends, one attacks the problem directly. One is the gatekeeper, the other is the carpenter rebuilding the house. Together, they are a perfect team. In traditional medicine, this is called the sovereign and minister principle. One ingredient is the leader, the main force that holds the position and does the primary job. The other is the assistant, the specialist who comes in to fix the specific problems. Together, they are unstoppable. They are mutually enhancing. The sum is greater than the parts. Let me give you another real-world example. I had a patient, a really great guy, who was a chef. He was in his late 50s. He came to see me for something unrelated, but he mentioned his hands. And when I saw them, I understood why. His hands had been through the ringer. Decades of chopping, washing, being exposed to high heat and harsh industrial cleaning chemicals. His hands were so dry, the skin was cracked. The cracks were so deep they would bleed, especially in the winter. He had these dark, thick calluses and lots of those dark, flat age spots. He called it chef's hands. He told me he tried every expensive hand cream on the market. He had a drawer full of them at home, but they were useless because the moment he washed his hands, which he does about 50 times a day, the cream would just wash right off. It was a waste of money. Plus, the creams were often too heavily perfumed and he couldn't use them in a kitchen anyway. So I taught him the same method. I said, forget the fancy creams. Here's what I want you to do. Every night before bed, head wash his hands one last time, pat them dry with a towel. Mix the petroleum jelly with a vitamin E capsule and massage it into his hands. Head pay special attention to his knuckles, his cuticles, and the cracked areas. Then he would put on a cheap pair of white cotton gloves and go to sleep. That was it, for 3 weeks. He came back for a follow-up appointment, and I could not believe the difference. It was a night and day transformation. His hands were so much smoother. The deep, painful cracks were practically gone. The thick calluses had softened. The dark spots had faded noticeably. The overall texture of his skin was completely different. He told me he could feel the difference when he was handling ingredients. And the best part, that winter, for the first time in years, his hands didn't crack and bleed. He was thrilled. His wife joked that his hands were now softer than his face. And this isn't some fancy distant lab study. This is a real story happening in a real kitchen with a real person. It works. So now you know exactly what to do. Let me walk you through it one more time, step by step, so it's crystal clear. Step 1, at night before you go to bed, wash your hands, your face, and your neck. Use a gentle, mild cleanser. Nothing harsh. Don't scrub your skin raw. Just a gentle wash. Step 2, pat your skin dry with a soft towel, but here's the key, leave it just a little bit damp, not dripping wet, just slightly moist. Step 3, take a pea-sized amount of plain pure petroleum jelly, just a dollop about the size of a green pea. Put it in the palm of your hand. Step 4, take a clean pin or a small needle, poke a hole in one vitamin E capsule. Gently squeeze the oil from the capsule into the petroleum jelly in your palm. Step 5, now use your finger to mix them together in your palm. Just swirl them around until they are blended. You'll notice that the thick, waxy petroleum jelly becomes a little bit smoother, a little more slippery, and much easier to spread. It has a nicer slip to it. Step 6. Now apply the mixture. Start with the backs of your hands, massage it in. Pay attention to your knuckles and your finger joints. Those areas tend to get super dry and wrinkly. Then don't forget your neck. Here's a very important tip. The neck is the #1 area that gives away our age. I have so many patients who take great care of their faces but completely forget about their necks. And that's where you see the turkey neck or those deep rings of wrinkles. You have to remember to include your neck in this routine. When you apply the mixture to your neck, you have to be careful with the direction. I want you to massage upward, start at the base of your neck, right at your collarbone gently. Using light pressure, stroke upwards towards your jawline. Do not massage downwards. Do not push the skin down. Think about it. Gravity is already pulling everything downwards, right? If you push the skin down while you're massaging, you're just helping gravity along. You don't want that. You want to work against gravity. You want to lift and smooth. So always go from the bottom up. Keep massaging gently until the mixture feels like it has been absorbed and your skin feels soft and supple, not greasy. You want it to feel like there's a protective layer on there, but it shouldn't be so thick that you're leaving oil stains on your pillowcase. Now, this is the important part. Make this your nightly ritual. Don't skip it. It has to be a habit, just like brushing your teeth. It should take you maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It's a nice, calming way to end your day. What can you expect? In 1 week, you will feel a significant difference. Your skin will feel smoother and more hydrated. It won't feel rough or tight. In 1 month, you'll start to see the results. Those small, fine lines, especially the little crow's feet around your eyes and the fine lines on your hands, they will start to become less visible. Your makeup will go on more smoothly. It won't cake or flake off. In 3 months, those deeper wrinkles that you thought were permanent will be noticeably softer and shallower. Your skin tone will be more even, and you'll have a healthier, more vibrant glow. Your complexion will just look happier. And the cost, it's almost laughable how affordable this is. A big jar of petroleum jelly will last you for a year, maybe longer. A box of vitamin E capsules is just a few dollars. We are talking about a total investment of maybe $15 to $20. That's it. And it works better and more consistently than creams that cost $2, $3, even $400. Do the math, $20 versus $200. You're saving over 90% of the cost and you're getting a better, more permanent result. Isn't that a better use of your money? Think about what you could do with the money you save. You could take your family out for a nice dinner. You could get a massage. You could invest it in a good gym membership. You could put it towards a weekend getaway. You could treat your friends to a nice lunch. There are so many better things to spend your hard-earned money on than expensive goop in a pretty jar. Why does this work so well? Because it's aligned with the natural fundamental physiology of your skin. It respects how your skin actually functions. Traditional medicine, with thousands of years of wisdom, often comes down to the simplest, most elegant solutions. It's about working with your body, not against it. It's about being effective and natural. We aren't piling on complex, man-made chemicals with names that sound like they're from a science fiction movie. We're asking a very simple question: what does your skin actually need right now? And the answer is it needs help keeping its moisture in, and it needs the nutrients to repair itself. That's it. We provide exactly that, and we get out of the way. The most powerful answers are almost always the simplest ones. And this method isn't just for your hands and neck. You can use it anywhere you have dry, rough skin: your elbows, your knees, your heels, especially your heels in the winter. Many of my patients get painful cracked heels when the weather turns cold. It can make walking uncomfortable. Use this mixture, massage it into your feet, put on a pair of socks, and go to sleep. It will do wonders. And think about your older family members, your parents or grandparents. Their skin is often even drier and more fragile. That winter itch can be unbearable. It keeps them up at night. If you help them with this simple routine, it can really bring them a lot of comfort. It's also a really kind, caring thing to do for someone you love. They will appreciate it so much. So that's my advice for today. I hope you found this helpful. If you've tried this method, or if you're going to give it a shot, drop a comment below and let me know. I love hearing from you. Remember, small, consistent changes are what lead to real, lasting results. Take good care of your skin and your body will thank you. One final reminder: this information is for educational and informational purposes only. It's based on my clinical experience and general medical knowledge. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Every person is different. Always consult with your own primary care doctor or dermatologist before making any changes to your skincare routine, especially if you have a pre-existing skin condition. If you are dealing with any concerning skin issues, please don't rely on a YouTube video. Schedule a visit with your own doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science behind these things, but I can never replace the personalized advice of a healthcare professional who knows you and your medical history. Take care, be well, and I'll see you in the next video.